Before we dive into this forbidden truth that will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about dreams, I have to ask you something. What time is it where you're watching this right now? And where in the world are you? I'm asking because the time you're watching this and your location might not be a coincidence at all. You see, the universe has a funny way of guiding souls to the exact information they need at the exact moment they're ready to receive it. And if you're here right now, reading these words, watching this video, there's a reason that goes far deeper than you think. So drop your location and time in the comments, because I want to see just how many awakening souls have been guided here, at this precise moment in their journey now. Let's begin. You've been told your entire life that dreams are random, just your brain processing the day's events, clearing out mental clutter while you sleep, firing neurons creating meaningless images and stories that fade away by morning. But what if I told you that's the biggest, most dangerous lie you've ever been fed? What if I told you that every single night when you close your eyes and drift into what you call sleep, you're actually doing something so powerful, so absolutely sacred, that ancient civilizations built entire mystery schools around this knowledge, and modern institutions have spent centuries trying to make sure you never, ever discover the truth. Tonight, right now, I'm going to pull back the curtain on one of humanity's most closely guarded secrets, the real purpose of your dreams. And trust me, once you understand what's actually happening every single night, you'll never see reality the same way again. They don't want you to know this. They've buried it, suppressed it, ridiculed it, called it pseudoscience and fantasy. But the evidence is everywhere. It's in ancient Egyptian texts, in Tibetan Buddhist practices, in the mystery schools of Greece, in indigenous shamanic traditions spanning every continent. Every single ancient culture knew this truth. They lived by it. They mastered it. And then it was systematically erased from modern consciousness, replaced with the sanitized, dumbed down version you were taught in school. But here's the thing. The truth has a way of surviving. It whispers through the cracks. It resurfaces when humanity needs it most. And right now, in this moment of collective awakening, the veil is thinner than it's ever been. So let me ask you, are you ready to remember what you've always known deep in your soul? Every night when you lay down and close your eyes, you think you're just going to sleep, resting your body, shutting down for maintenance. Wrong, completely wrong. What's actually happening is that your consciousness, your true self, your soul is preparing to leave your physical body and travel to dimensions and realms that exist beyond the thin veil of what you call waking reality. You see, the ancient Egyptians didn't call sleep the little death for nothing. They understood something that modern science is only now beginning to rediscover. That sleep is a portal, a gateway, a threshold between worlds and dreams. Oh, dreams are not random firings of neurons. They are actual experiences, real journeys your soul takes every single night into the astral plane, the dream realm, the collective unconscious. Call it whatever resonates with you. But understand this. It is real, it is happening, and you have been traveling there your entire life without even realizing it. The Tibetan Buddhists have an entire practice called dream yoga, passed down for thousands of years, where advanced practitioners maintain full consciousness while their body sleeps. They know exactly where they're going. They navigate these realms with intention and purpose. They meet with teachers, ancient masters, spirit guides. They access the Akashic records, that cosmic library containing every thought, every action, every possibility that has ever existed or will exist. They heal trauma that spans multiple lifetimes. They prepare their consciousness for the ultimate transition we call death. Because here's what they understood. Death and sleep are identical processes. The only difference is that in sleep your silver cord, that energetic tether connecting your soul to your body, remains intact, allowing you to return. But in death, that cord is severed, and the journey continues without return to this particular physical vessel. This is why so many near-death experiences describe the exact same phenomena that lucid dreamers report. The tunnel of light, the sense of infinite love, the meeting with deceased loved ones, the life review. It's all happening in the same realm, the same dimension that you visit every single night. But here's where it gets even more profound, and this is the part they really don't want you to understand. Your dreams are not just random visits to some ethereal playground. No, they are precisely orchestrated, carefully designed experiences created by your higher self, your soul, your guides, and yes, even the universe itself to deliver messages, warnings, guidance, healing, and preparation for what's coming in your waking life. You see, your higher self exists outside of linear time. It can see your past, your present, and your future simultaneously. It knows what challenges you're about to face, what lessons you need to learn, what karma you're working through, what soul contracts you made before incarnating into this life. And it uses the dream state, when your logical, skeptical, conditioned ego mind is finally quiet, to communicate with you directly. This is why certain dreams feel so vivid, so real, so emotionally charged that you wake up and you can't shake them. You feel them in your bones. You know they meant something. Because they did. They were not dreams in the conventional sense. They were transmissions, downloads of information, prophetic visions, soul memories, karmic healings happening in real time while your conscious mind was offline. The ancient Greeks understood this so deeply that they built entire temples called Asclepions, healing temples where people would go specifically to receive healing dreams. They would perform rituals, enter altered states, sleep in sacred chambers, and in their dreams, the god Asclepius would appear and perform miraculous healings, surgeries, provide medicinal formulas, and people would wake up cured of diseases that were considered incurable. Was this mythology, fantasy, primitive superstition? Or did they understand something about the true nature of reality, about the power of consciousness, about the healing potential of the dream state that we've completely forgotten in our materialistic, reductionist modern world? Now let's talk about the architecture of dreams themselves, because once you understand the structure, you'll start recognizing the patterns, the symbols, the recurring themes that appear in your own dream life. And you'll realize, oh my God, this has been happening my entire life, and I just never noticed. First, there are what we call processing dreams. These are the surface-level dreams where your subconscious mind is indeed sorting through daily experiences. But even these are not random. They're showing you what your soul considers important, what emotional residue needs to be cleared, what unresolved conflicts need your attention. Then there are prophetic dreams. And before you roll your eyes, understand that every ancient text, every spiritual tradition, every indigenous culture has documented thousands of verified prophetic dreams. Abraham Lincoln dreamed of his own assassination weeks before it happened, with such specific detail that he told multiple witnesses about it. Mark Twain dreamed of his brother's death in a specific coffin with specific flowers, down to the exact detail. Weeks before the tragic accident occurred, Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, would enter trance states and access information about people he'd never met, diagnosing diseases, predicting future events, channeling information from the Akashic records. How? Because in the dream state, consciousness is no longer bound by the illusion of linear time. Your soul exists in the eternal now where past, present, and future are one. And in dreams, you can access that perspective. You can see probabilities, potential timelines, karmic patterns playing out. Then we have visitation dreams, and this is where it gets deeply emotional. Have you ever dreamed of a deceased loved one And it felt different than your normal dreams? It felt more real, more vivid, more present. You could feel them. You could sense their energy, their love, their essence. And when you woke up, you knew, beyond all doubt, that you had actually connected with them. That's because you did, you see. When someone dies, they don't just disappear into nothingness. Consciousness cannot be destroyed. It can only transform. And souls who have transitioned often reach out to their loved ones through the dream state, because it's the only time most people's logical minds are quiet enough to receive the communication. The veil between dimensions is thinnest during sleep. Your frequency is elevated. You're vibrating closer to their realm, and genuine connection can occur. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo Thodol, describes in intricate detail the journey of consciousness after death, the intermediate states, the bardos, and it explains how souls can communicate with the living through dreams, through visions, through signs, and how the living can actually help guide the deceased through their transition by holding space, sending love, performing certain practices. All of this was common knowledge in ancient Tibet, taught openly, practiced regularly. And now we're told it's impossible, irrational, unscientific. But tell that to the millions of people who have had undeniable visitation dreams that provided information they could not have possibly known, that brought healing and closure, that proved beyond doubt that consciousness survives death. Let's dive deeper into the mechanics of what's actually happening when you dream, because understanding the process will help you recognize when you're having significant, spiritually important dreams versus mundane processing dreams. When you fall asleep, your brainwave patterns shift from beta, waking consciousness, to alpha, relaxed state, to theta, deep meditation, early sleep, and finally to delta, deep, dreamless sleep. But here's what they don't tell you. These brainwave states correspond to different dimensions of consciousness, different frequency bands, different realms of existence. Theta is the gateway, the shamanic state, the frequency at which you can access the astral plane, the collective unconscious, the quantum field of infinite possibilities. This is why shamans, mystics, and advanced meditators train themselves to maintain awareness in theta states. Because this is where the magic happens. This is where you can communicate with guides, access past life, memories, travel to other dimensions, receive downloads of information, and yes, even influence physical reality itself, because at the theta level, you're working with the source code of creation. You're in the space where consciousness and matter are one, where thought and manifestation are instantaneous. Now, during REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, this is when most of your vivid dreams occur, and science has observed that during REM, your eyes are literally tracking movement as if you're watching something, as if you're experiencing a visual reality. Because your consciousness is literally traveling, exploring, experiencing, and your physical eyes are responding to what your soul is seeing in these other dimensions. Even more fascinating, during REM sleep, your body goes into a state of paralysis, sleep paralysis, where your muscles are temporarily shut down. Why? The mainstream explanation is to prevent you from acting out your dreams physically, but the deeper truth, the esoteric truth that ancient yogis and mystics understood, is that this paralysis occurs because your soul has literally left your body. Your consciousness has projected out, and your body is in a state of protection, a vulnerable state, because the pilot has temporarily left the vehicle. This is why sleep paralysis experiences, when people wake up but can't move and sense a presence in the room, are often accompanied by visions of shadowy figures, entities, or profound spiritual experiences, because they've woken up while their consciousness is still partially out of body, still straddling both dimensions, still perceiving the astral realm while their physical eyes are open. It's terrifying if you don't understand what's happening, but profound if you do. The ancient Egyptians. Oh, the Egyptians were masters of dream work and consciousness exploration. They didn't build those temples and create those elaborate rituals for entertainment. They were scientists of consciousness. They understood the multidimensional nature of human existence. They knew that the soul, which they called the Ka, could travel independently of the body. They had detailed maps of the afterlife. They do it not because they were superstitious, but because their priests and initiates regularly traveled there during sleep and in altered states. They brought back maps. They documented the journey. They knew what to expect during the death transition because they had practiced it thousands of times during sleep. This is what the mystery schools taught. This is why initiation rituals often involved entering tomb-like spaces, enduring darkness, sensory deprivation, inducing near-death states, because they were training consciousness to navigate between dimensions, to maintain awareness during the transition, to remember who and what they truly are beyond the physical body. The Egyptian opening of the mouth ceremony wasn't just a funeral rite. It was a sophisticated technique for maintaining consciousness continuity from life to death to rebirth. They understood the technology of consciousness in ways that would blow modern minds. And all of this was connected to their understanding of dreams, sleep, and the multidimensional nature of reality. So why? Why would this knowledge be suppressed? Why would something so profound, so empowering, so fundamental to human existence be systematically erased from mainstream education and consciousness? Think about it. If people understood that they are eternal, multidimensional beings, that death is just a transition, that they have access to infinite wisdom and guidance every single night, that they can travel beyond physical limitations, heal trauma across lifetimes, connect with deceased loved ones, access prophetic information, and tap into the unified field of consciousness, how easy would they be to control? How fearful would they be of death? How dependent would they be on external authorities, institutions, religions, governments? The truth is, awakened people are dangerous to systems built on control, fear, and limitation. Empowered people who know their own divine nature, who trust their inner guidance, who have direct access to spiritual truth without intermediaries. These people cannot be manipulated, cannot be herded like sheep, cannot be kept in boxes of limitation and scarcity consciousness. So the knowledge had to go. It had to be ridiculed, marginalized, relegated to the realm of superstition and pseudoscience. And it has been for centuries, brilliantly and systematically. But here's the beautiful thing. The knowledge was never truly lost. It went underground. It was preserved in secret societies, esoteric orders, indigenous traditions, mystical lineages, and now in this age of awakening, it's resurging. People are remembering. The veil is thinning. And those of us who are ready are being called to remember what we've always known. Let me share something with you that will completely reframe how you see your dream life. Every person, every animal, every place, every object that appears in your dreams is a symbol, a representation of an aspect of yourself, your psyche, your soul's journey. Carl Jung understood this when he developed his theory of the collective unconscious and archetypes. But he was really just rediscovering what ancient mystery schools had taught for millennia. Your dreams are filled with archetypal energies, the shadow, the anima/animus, the wise old man, the great mother, the hero, the trickster. These are not just psychological constructs. They are real energetic intelligences, aspects of the collective human soul that exist in the astral realm and communicate with us through dreams. When you dream of being chased, You're not just processing anxiety. You're encountering your shadow, those repressed, denied, rejected aspects of yourself that are trying to get your attention, trying to be integrated, trying to be healed. And here's the secret. The more you run from your shadow in dreams, the more it will chase you in waking life, manifesting as recurring problems, toxic patterns, self-sabotage, until you finally turn around, face it, embrace it, and integrate it back into wholeness. When you dream of water, you're dreaming of the emotional body, the subconscious mind. Calm water means emotional peace. Turbulent water means emotional turmoil. Drowning means being overwhelmed by emotions or unconscious material. Water is always about the emotional realm, the realm of feelings, intuition, the feminine principle, the flow of life itself. Ancient traditions understood this symbolic language perfectly. They could read dreams like we read books, extracting meaning, guidance, warnings, and prophecies with stunning accuracy. Death dreams, death dreams are particularly misunderstood and feared. People wake up terrified having dreamed of their own death or someone else's death. But here's what you need to understand. Death in dreams almost never means physical death. It means transformation, the ending of one phase and the beginning of another, the death of an old identity, an old pattern, an old way of being. It's actually a positive symbol, indicating that you're shedding something that no longer serves you, evolving, transforming at the soul level. The Death card in Tarot has the same meaning. It's one of the most positive cards in the deck because it indicates necessary endings that make space for new beginnings. But we've been so conditioned to fear death, to see it as the ultimate enemy, that we miss the message entirely. We wake up in fear instead of recognizing the gift that our soul is telling us. You're ready, you're evolving. Let go of what was and embrace what's becoming. Flying dreams are another powerful symbol. When you dream of flying, soaring above the earth, feeling absolute freedom and joy, you're actually experiencing astral projection. Your consciousness is literally out of body, and the sensation of flying is your soul's natural mode of movement in the astral plane. Children dream of flying all the time because they're still close to the other side. Their consciousness hasn't fully descended into the density of physical reality. They remember how to navigate the astral realm naturally. But as we grow older, as we become more conditioned, more realistic, more trapped in the physical illusion, we fly less, we forget, we lose that natural ability. But it's still there dormant, waiting to be reawakened. Recurring dreams. Pay attention to recurring dreams because these are your soul's way of saying, you're missing something important. You need to understand this. You need to heal this. You need to address this. Recurring dreams are like cosmic alarm clocks. They keep showing up until you finally get the message, until you do the work, until you heal the wound, integrate the lesson, or change the pattern in your waking life. I've heard countless stories of people having the same recurring dream for years, sometimes decades, and then once they finally understood the message and made the necessary changes in their life, the dream stopped, never returned, because its purpose had been fulfilled, the message had been received, the healing had occurred. This is not coincidence. This is not your brain randomly replaying the same scenario. This is intelligent communication from your higher self, and it will keep knocking on your door until you answer. Nightmares. Even nightmares serve a purpose. They're not punishment. They're not random horror shows. They're your psyche's way of processing trauma, fear, repressed emotions, shadow material that needs to come to the surface to be healed. The Jungian approach to nightmares is brilliant. Instead of trying to stop them or fear them, you engage with them. You learn to become lucid in the nightmare, turn around and face the monster. Ask it what it wants, what it represents. what message it has for you. And when you do this, when you face your nightmare demons with courage and curiosity instead of fear, something miraculous happens. They transform. They become allies, guides, teachers, because that's what they always were. They were aspects of yourself trying to get your attention, trying to be seen, heard, and healed. Now let's talk about something absolutely crucial that most people never consider. The quality of your waking consciousness directly affects the quality of your dreams, and the quality of your dreams directly affects the quality of your waking life. It's a feedback loop, a spiral that can move upward or downward. If you spend your days consumed by low-frequency emotions, fear, anger, resentment, victimhood, judgment, hatred, your dream state will reflect that. You'll have disturbing dreams, nightmares, chaotic dream experiences, because you're carrying that density into the astral realm. But if you elevate your consciousness during waking hours, if you practice presence, mindfulness, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, if you do your shadow work, your healing work, your spiritual practices, then your dreams become more lucid, more vivid, more spiritually significant. You start having profound teaching dreams, visitations from guides and masters, prophetic dreams, healing dreams, because you've raised your frequency to the point where you can access higher dimensions of the dream realm. This is why every spiritual tradition emphasizes the importance of preparation before sleep. The ancient yogis had specific practices called yoga nidra, yogic sleep, where they would enter deep meditative states that bridge waking and sleeping consciousness. Tibetan Buddhists have elaborate dream yoga practices where they set intentions before sleep, visualize specific deities or light, maintain awareness as they transition from waking to sleeping. Native American traditions have dream preparation rituals, creating sacred space, burning sage, offering prayers, asking for guidance and protection. These aren't superstitions. These are technologies for optimizing the dream state, for ensuring safe and productive soul travel, for accessing the highest realms of consciousness during sleep. And here's something that will blow your mind. Time in the dream realm operates completely differently than time in physical reality. You know how you can have a dream that feels like it lasted hours or even days, but you wake up and only 20 minutes have passed? Or conversely, you have a brief dream, but it's packed with so much information and experience that it feels like an entire lifetime? That's because in the astral realm, in the dream dimension, time is non-linear. It's fluid, it's simultaneous. You can experience past, present, and future all at once. You can live out entire alternate timelines, parallel realities, probable futures. This is why advanced dreamers can use the dream state for time travel, accessing past life memories, seeing future probabilities, even influencing timelines. Quantum physics is actually catching up to what mystics have known forever. That time is an illusion, a construct of the physical dimension, but consciousness itself exists outside of time, in the eternal now. And when you dream, you're accessing that timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously. This is also why dream interpretation needs to be done carefully, because sometimes what appears to be a prophetic dream about the future is actually a memory from a past life, or an experience from a parallel timeline, or a symbolic representation of a current inner state. The dream realm is multi-layered, multidimensional, and learning to navigate it skillfully takes practice, awareness, and trust in your own inner knowing. Let's go deeper into the concept of lucid dreaming, because this is where the real magic happens, where you transition from being a passive observer in your dreams to being an active, conscious participant. Lucid dreaming is when you become aware that you're dreaming while you're still in the dream. And once you achieve that awareness, everything changes. Suddenly you have conscious control. You can fly, teleport, walk through walls, create and dissolve objects, visit specific places or people, ask questions and receive answers, heal trauma, practice skills, explore infinite possibilities. The Tibetan Buddhists call this dream yoga, and they consider it one of the most advanced spiritual practices because it's essentially training for death. You see, if you can maintain conscious awareness while your body is asleep, if you can navigate the dream realm with clarity and intention, then when the time comes for the ultimate transition, when your consciousness permanently leaves your body, at death, you'll be prepared. You'll know what to do, where to go, how to navigate the bardos, the intermediate states between death and rebirth. You won't be confused, lost, or drawn back into unconscious reincarnation. You'll have choice, you'll have power. You'll be able to consciously choose your next incarnation or even liberation from the wheel of rebirth entirely. This is why advanced yogis and monks dedicate decades to mastering dream yoga. Because it's not just about having cool experiences and dreams. It's about liberation. It's about mastering consciousness itself. The techniques for inducing lucid dreams are actually quite simple, but they require consistency and dedication, reality checks throughout the day, looking at your hands, reading text twice to see if it changes, asking yourself, am I dreaming? Until it becomes such a habit that you start doing it in your dreams, and when you do it in a dream and realize the text has changed, or your hands look strange, or something is impossible, BAM, lucidity. You wake up within the dream. Another technique is maintaining awareness during the transition from waking to sleeping. That hypnagogic state where you're right on the edge. You can literally watch yourself enter the dream, maintaining a thread of consciousness all the way through. Advanced practitioners can do this at will, lying down, entering sleep consciously, and immediately having a fully lucid dream. The ancient Egyptians had a technique called incubation, where they would focus intensely on a specific question or intention before sleep, asking for a dream that would provide guidance, and they would receive it. Modern research has actually validated this, showing that people who set clear intentions before sleep are significantly more likely to have dreams related to those intentions and to achieve lucidity. Because intention is everything. Intention directs consciousness, focuses energy, and communicates to your higher self what you want to experience. Now here's where we need to talk about something controversial, but absolutely essential. The suppression of dream knowledge is not just about keeping people disempowered. It's also about preventing people from discovering the truth about reality itself. You see, when you become an advanced lucid dreamer, when you spend enough time consciously exploring the astral realm, you start to realize something absolutely mind-blowing. The dream world and the waking world are made of the same substance. They both operate on the same fundamental principles. They're both creations of consciousness, projections of mind. In the dream world, you know everything is consciousness. You can fly because you believe you can. You can create objects with your thoughts. You can change scenes instantly. It's obviously malleable, obviously responsive to consciousness. But then you wake up and you think, okay, now I'm in real reality, solid, objective, material reality. But what if that's the ultimate illusion? What if waking reality is also a dream? Just a more dense, more stable, more collective dream that we're all agreeing to participate in. This is exactly what the ancient Vedic texts teach, the concept of Maya, the illusion of physical reality, the Buddhist teaching of sunyata, emptiness, the idea that form is empty and emptiness is form. Quantum physics has discovered that matter is 99.9999% empty space, that particles only appear when observed, that consciousness collapses the wave function into reality, that the observer and the observed are one. This is not philosophy. This is physics, the most cutting-edge science is discovering what mystics have known forever. Consciousness is primary, matter is secondary, reality is a hologram, a simulation, a dream that we're collectively dreaming into existence. And once you understand this, once you truly grasp that waking reality operates on the same principles as dream reality, just at a different frequency, a different density, everything changes. You realize that the same techniques you use in lucid dreaming can be applied to waking life. Intention setting, visualization, emotional alignment, belief restructuring, energy work. You realize that you're not a victim of circumstance. You're a creator, a conscious creator of your reality. Every thought, every belief, every emotion is literally broadcasting a frequency that attracts matching experiences. This is the law of attraction, but it's not some new age fantasy. It's quantum mechanics. It's the observer effect. It's consciousness creating reality. And once you master this in dreams, once you experientially know that your consciousness can shape reality, you bring that power back to waking life. You stop feeling helpless. You stop waiting for life to happen to you. You start deliberately creating your experience. And this is what they don't want you to know. This is the forbidden knowledge, because awakened creators cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be kept in boxes of limitation and fear. Let me share something else that's absolutely profound. The people who appear in your dreams, especially recurring people, are not always who they seem to be. Sometimes they're symbolic representations of aspects of yourself. Yes, but sometimes they're actual souls that you're connecting with in the astral realm. You might dream of a stranger and then meet that exact person in waking life days or weeks later. And you have this immediate recognition, this sense of I know you, because you do. You've already met them in the dream realm. You've already connected at the soul level before your physical paths crossed. This is what the ancients called soul recognition. And it happens all the time, especially between soulmates, soul family members, people who have karmic contracts together. They often meet in dreams before they meet in physical reality, preparing both souls for the connection, providing information, setting things in motion energetically. I've heard hundreds of stories of people who dreamed of their future partner before meeting them, sometimes years in advance, seeing their face, hearing their voice, feeling the connection, and then one day, there they are in physical reality, exactly as they appeared in the dream. This is not coincidence. This is not fantasy. This is souls communicating across dimensions, preparing for incarnate connection, orchestrating physical reality meetings from the higher dimensions. Then there are the teaching dreams, the initiatory dreams, the dreams where you meet with masters, ancient teachers, spirit guides, ascended beings. These dreams have a completely different quality. They're crystal clear, hyper-real. You wake up and you know it was not an ordinary dream. You feel changed, expanded. You receive transmission, download, activation. The ancient mystery schools taught that initiations often occurred in the dream state, that advanced students would be taken to the inner temples, the etheric schools, where they would receive teachings directly from the masters. This still happens today for those who are ready. For those who are called, you might dream of being in a temple, a library, a school with beings of light who teach you, show you things, activate dormant aspects of your consciousness, and you wake up with knowledge you didn't have before, abilities that seem to emerge from nowhere. This is real initiation, real transmission, happening not in physical reality, but in the higher dimensions that are actually more real, more fundamental than physical reality. Because physical reality is the projection, the hologram, but these higher dimensions, these are the source, the template, the blueprint from which physical reality emerges. Shadow work in dreams is one of the most powerful healing modalities available, and it's completely free, available to everyone. every single night. Your dreams will show you your shadow, those repressed, denied, rejected aspects of yourself, the parts you've disowned, the trauma you've suppressed, the pain you've avoided. It will show up as monsters, attackers, threatening figures, disturbing scenarios, and your first instinct is to run, to wake up, to escape. But if you can train yourself to stay present, to turn around and face the shadow, to ask it what it wants, what it represents, to embrace it with compassion, healing happens instantly. The monster transforms into a scared child, a wounded part of yourself that just needed to be seen and loved. The attacker becomes a protector, an ally, a source of power that was turned against you because it was rejected. This is Jungian depth psychology at its finest, but it's also ancient shamanic practice, the journey into the underworld, the confrontation with demons and monsters, the retrieval of soul fragments, the integration of shadow into wholeness. Every hero's journey in mythology follows this pattern because mythology is about consciousness, about the journey of the soul through darkness into light, through fragmentation into wholeness. And this journey happens nightly in your dreams if you're aware enough to recognize it and brave enough to engage with it. Past life dreams are another category that's absolutely fascinating. And yes, past lives are real. Reincarnation is not a belief system. It's a fact of consciousness. The soul is eternal. It incarnates multiple times, learning, growing, evolving through experience. And sometimes, especially when there's unresolved karma, unhealed trauma, soul contracts to fulfill, you'll have dreams that are actually memories from past lives. They have a distinctive quality. They're usually historically accurate even though you have no conscious knowledge of that time period. You're in a different body, different gender sometimes, different location, but you are there, you recognize yourself. And the dream contains information about current life patterns, relationships, fears, talents, because everything carries over. Nothing is lost. The soul remembers everything. Sometimes a phobia in this life is connected to a trauma in a past life. Sometimes an instant connection with a stranger is because you've known them before in previous incarnations. Sometimes a talent that seems to come naturally is because you mastered it in previous lives. And your dreams will show you this. They'll give you glimpses, memories, understanding that helps you make sense of your current life, heal old wounds, complete unfinished business, and evolve beyond patterns that have been repeating for lifetimes. The beings you encounter in dreams, let's talk about them. Because not everything in the dream realm is a projection of your own psyche. There are actual entities, intelligences, beings that exist in the astral realm. Some are benevolent, guides, angels, ascended masters, deceased loved ones checking in on you, nature spirits, elementals. These beings often appear in dreams to offer guidance, protection, warnings, teachings. They might look like wise old men or women, glowing beings, animals, with unusual intelligence, or sometimes they're just a presence, a sense of love and support that you feel. Then there are neutral entities, other dreaming humans that you encounter as they're also traveling the astral realm. You might have shared dreams with someone where you both remember meeting in the dream and can verify details that match. This happens more often than people realize, but it's dismissed as coincidence. And yes, there are also negative entities, what some traditions call demons, parasites, energy vampires. These are beings that feed on low-frequency emotions like fear, anger, despair, and they'll attempt to induce these emotions in vulnerable dreamers. This is why protection before sleep is so important. Why maintaining a high vibration, surrounding yourself with light, calling in your guides for protection. These practices are not superstition. They're essential hygiene for safe astral travel. Just like you lock your doors at night in physical reality, you need to secure your energy field when you travel in non-physical reality. Let's address sleep paralysis specifically because it terrifies so many people. But once you understand what's actually happening, it becomes less frightening and potentially even useful. Sleep paralysis occurs when your consciousness wakes up, but your body is still in the paralyzed state that occurs during REM sleep. You're literally caught between dimensions. Your physical eyes are open, but your astral body is still partially out. And this creates a very strange state where you can perceive both dimensions simultaneously. The key is to remain calm, understand what's happening, and use it as an opportunity for conscious astral projection rather than panicking. Because fear only attracts lower entities and makes the experience worse, but courage, curiosity, and elevated consciousness transform sleep paralysis into a gateway for profound spiritual experiences. So, now you know the truth. Your dreams are not random. They've never been random. Every single night you're embarking on sacred journeys, receiving divine guidance, healing ancient wounds, connecting with realms beyond physical reality, and preparing your consciousness for the ultimate transition. This knowledge changes everything. Tonight when you go to sleep, you'll never see it the same way again. You'll know that you're not just going to bed. You're preparing to travel, to explore, to learn, to heal, to connect with your higher self and the infinite intelligence of the universe. Start paying attention to your dreams. Write them down the moment you wake up. Look for patterns, symbols, recurring themes. Set intentions before sleep. Ask for guidance. Ask for healing. Ask for lucid awareness. Protect your energy. Raise your frequency. And watch as your dream life becomes richer, deeper, more profound than you ever imagined possible. The veil is thin. The time of awakening is now. And you've been called to remember what you've always known. You are an eternal, multidimensional being of light, temporarily inhabiting a physical form, and every night, you return home to remember who and what you truly are. If this video resonated with you, if something deep within your soul recognized this truth, share it with others who are ready to wake up. Leave a comment about your most profound dream experience, and remember, the universe is always speaking to you. You just have to learn the language, and dreams are the oldest, most sacred language of all. Until next time, sleep well, dream deep, and never forget, you are so much more than you've been told.